The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, one of the hottest political races in the region. Jamaicans go to the polls tomorrow to either re-elect Andrew Holness and the JLP or vote in the PNP and Mark Golding. I have representatives from both organizations joining me this evening live from Jamaica. Also tonight, the president of the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union attacks me, saying I'm a very irresponsible talk show host. That's right. While still, again today, accusing NAD and Atlantis of allowing livery drivers to illicitly solicit fares. Here's a question for you. Should the state have the right to shave an inmate's hair? It's a real question. A local Rasta priest says it's in violation of that inmate's constitutional rights. And so what are your thoughts on the matter? Think about that until we come to the story. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. More than 2 million Jamaicans will go to the polls just hours from now to vote for a new government. The JLP is seeking to be re-elected, while the PNP is hoping to secure the majority vote. This election campaign has been trending everywhere, with Bahamians in and out of Jamaica paying attention to every move on the campaign trail. Tonight, Beyond the Headlines is happy to speak with some of the youth leaders of both political organizations. And so, of course, I'm very happy to welcome them. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Connor England, who represents the JLP. He is a member of the university group and the PR machinery of the JLP. Also joining us this evening is Davil Grant. Davil is the General Secretary of the Patriots, the PNP's Young Professionals arm. And so good evening to both of you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me. I see one of you here, so hopefully the other person gets back in. Please introduce yourself to us and we will get started.
Hi, good afternoon, or good evening rather. My name is Connor England. I am a member of Young Jamaica, which is the youth arm of the Jamaica Labour Party. And as you said, I am a part of the Jamaica Labour Party's public relations machinery that has been very much ongoing in this recent political election.
Well, Connor, let's pick it up right there. Your public relations in the JLP has been, stellar. I think that the political campaigns that have been run in this election season in Jamaica have set a new standard for the region. What went into the JLP's social media game?
Well, thank you for the commendations. You know, we've been working very hard to craft an image that appeals to the Jamaican people. We're trying to create an image that shows the Jamaican people that we are listening to them, that we are caring for their needs, and that we are trying to elucidate to them why we should return to government so that we can better the country. You know, one of the catchphrases that we're using is doing more for you. It's a social media campaign that we have in place. And what we're saying is that this government has went tooth and limb, has gone through extraordinary measures in an attempt to make sure that the Jamaican people can develop and can have a chance of upliftment like they would not have had before previously. So that's where the doing more for you comes from.
Yes. Now, both political parties campaigned throughout the country. I watched a significant amount of those rallies and the mobile campaigning myself, and both parties making their best pitch in order to win tomorrow. As you both, and of course we're expecting Davil to join us any minute now. He's also a part of this discussion. He represents the PNP. As you both are the youth arm of your organizations, I want to kind of just zero in on that aspect. In terms of, let's focus on what a win from either the JLP or the PNP means for first-time voters and the young voter like yourself. Connor, let's talk about the youth vote and how important it is for a win tomorrow.
Right. Well, the youth vote is very important in Jamaica because Jamaica is a country that, if you look at our demographics, it's a very young country in terms of the age. You know, a lot of the people that are coming in to vote now that are registered are newly, you know, voting of age. They've just come of age to vote. So I believe it's very important, and the Jamaica Labour Party has made a very distinct effort to try and pivot and cater to the youth audience. You know, we've always been the party that has tried to facilitate youth as much as possible. You know, we were the people that instituted all of these other youth organizations that cooperate with government, that give suggestions to government, so that we can have a holistic approach into our policy development and things like that. So I believe the youth vote is very important. And we here at the Jamaica Labour Party, we've been trying our utmost best to try and attract youth votes, show them that we are the party that can give you, you know, a better opportunity to go into the job market and get a job that is aligned to what you would have done in university. That's a problem that we have had recently, you know, where a lot of people are doing these degrees and they're saying, how come they're not able to get a job? You know, we have several things lined up in our plans and in our manifestos that directly correlate and talk to how we'll be able to facilitate you going in from university, coming out of university, and matriculating into the workforce.
So this
and
is
other
where
things that are very important.
This is where your role comes in, because you are part of the university group. I was discussing in the newsroom earlier this evening, asking about do any of our political organizations have a youth group, a university group rather, and we couldn't necessarily put our finger on it, but it's quite intentional then by the JLP to have this youth university group.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very intentional.
Yes, I see DeVille Grant is joining us. DeVille, good evening to you. Can you hear me? Hi, DeVille, can you hear me? DeVille is having some technical issues there. The connection, maybe where he is. If my team can please get him in, we would love to be able to hear from him. Hi, DeVille, can you hear me? Let's talk again. Good evening to you. I see him, Carlisle. Good evening to you, DeVille. Welcome to Be on the Headlines.
Good to you.
It's a little drag. It's dragging a bit. DeVille, if you can perhaps go out and come back in, and then if we can just bring. Oh, DeVille. Okay, let's see. Because and don't go anywhere, please. I don't want you to go anywhere. Connor, just stay where you are. Hello again, DeVille.
Right.
Hi, good evening. Are you here?
Yes, much better. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining me live here in Nassau, Bahamas from Jamaica. I asked Connor about the youth vote. Both you and he represent the youth arm of your political organizations. You are with the PNP. Talk about how important the youth vote is for the PNP to secure a win.
Well, it's very important. It is often said that it's the group with the highest voter apathy. We are quite confident that they'll find many of our proposals very useful for them as it relates to education and in particular housing. So both our youth arms have been very active in trying to secure those votes.
We've watched that. In Jamaica, I've spoken with many Bahamians living there, working there, and of course, many Bahamians here have watched with fascination of the way that Jamaica does elections. And everybody is just stunned and saying, listen, the nation basically sort of gets involved. And it is, would you call it a tight or a close race?
When you cross the island, as I've been doing, it doesn't seem like a close race, but we're not taking anything for granted. But from the ground suggests that it will not be a close race. But I've seen what the polls have been saying. But as I said, based on what we're seeing on the ground, personally, I don't see a close race.
Connor, you all have been doing several polls in the lead up to tomorrow's vote. You heard DeVille a minute ago just refer to the polls and saying, listen, the polls are, obviously he's speaking of the polls showing that the PNP is favored. What are the polls saying for the JLP?
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of the polls that we have in Jamaica have been giving very differing results, if we're going to be very honest with you. Some of them do indicate that the PNP are in the lead, but some of them also indicate that the JLP is in the lead. And some of them very specifically indicate that it is the youth vote. The youths are more attracted to the marketing, to the plans, to the initiatives that have been laid out and structured by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Let's talk about improvements in terms of opportunities for young people and even more mature people who are seeking perhaps other and additional opportunities by the Holness administration. He's seeking an historic third term. Let's talk about what he's done that will convince the people tomorrow to vote in his favor.
Right. Well, with regards to education, the government, this Andrew Holness-led JLP government has done a lot to ensure that young Jamaicans have the opportunity to go and gain any kind of skilled, technical, vocational work that they want to do, basically free of cost up to an associate level. So that's going out of university, not going out of high school, heading into university level. We have a industry-based organization in Jamaica called the Heart Trust NSTA. It's basically an organization that's aimed at providing vocational training to anybody that wants to do anything with regards to electricity, cooking, haberdashery work, textiles, manufacturing, you name it, it's being covered. It's a very holistic entity. And what we've done is that we have not only made it free for people to go, but we're actually paying people stipends to actually go and learn and to receive some kind of certification that will enable them to go into the working economy.
Yes.
And we're giving them stipends not only for them to have transport to go, but also for them to sit in the class and learn. And not only that, when they graduate or when they receive their certification, we have a system in place where they can receive funding for their trade. So if it is that they're going to be doing crafts work or some kind of electrical work, they can get a stipend of up to $300,000 for them to procure any of the goods that they need for their trade, free of cost, basically given to them by the government. And that's just Heart Trust NSTA. We could talk about all the other things and all the other scholarships that have been introduced by the party towards students that are in technological spaces at the varying universities across the island.
Connor, what does another 5-year term mean under Andrew Holness mean for Jamaica, you think?
Well, another 5 years would be very good for the economic and social standing of our country if we're going to be very objective with the path and the trajectory that the government is currently going on. If we want to continue and talk about youth, because this is a very youth-led panel, the youth representative of both parties are here. We can talk about the LEAD program. It is basically a learn and earn initiative where people can go into workspaces in the private sector or the public sector and try and learn under various different agencies, departments in government. Basically, if you're doing a degree that you have not been able to get an internship in before, the government is creating a space for you to go in. You can learn from a person that is probably a manager, a director at that firm or agency, and then you're being paid to do so as well, a stipend that is non-taxed as well.
Yes.
And I believe that is very important for youth going forward. And if we're going to talk about the economics of the country, the country has done so well economically to recover from a horrendous debt to GDP ratio that we previously had, where the government was basically constrained in their spending, and they wouldn't be able to get loans because of how bad our spending practices were. But we basically reverted that 360, and we're now the IMF's model globally on how an economy can recover from such detrimental practices.
Well, that's quite impressive.
Yeah, it is. And if you want to talk about crime as well, Kingston, Jamaica used to be called the crime capital of the world, really and truly. And it was really under this government in terms of investment and technological upgrades in the crime fighting strategies, such as implementing more body cameras, giving the police more cars, better guns, better equipment, better technological advancements in AI, that we've been able to see a steady increase in murders. Murders have actually gone down in the country 55% over the past 3 years.
A 55% decrease in murders?
Yeah, there's been a 55% decrease in murders. And what that translates to in numbers is that if you want to look at the last year, there are actually 400 less murders this year in comparison to last year in the country.
Wow, I tell you, those numbers even sound frightening for us in the Bahamas, because we thankfully have not even neared those types of statistics, and we pray daily not to. DeVille, I want to bring you back in. What would Jamaica look like, and what do you hope happens if Mark Golding were to be successful at the polls tomorrow, and what would Jamaica look like under his tenure as Prime Minister?
All right. Firstly, I want to address some things that Connor made mention of just now. As it relates to crime, yes, we applaud police for the work that they've been doing, but we have to be careful at how we look at statistics. Yes, crime has gone down, but where is it coming from? The 2 years before, the first 2 years of this new administration, crime was at its highest. So when the PNP left office, crime was averaging around 1,000 persons per year. Murders, in terms of murders, it's very high, yes. But the Andrew Onis administration took it up to as high as over 1,600. So yes, it has come down, but it has come down from the high he took it, right? As it relates to the economy, yes, our debt to GDP levels have come down significantly, but we also have to mention that in 2014, it was the PNP who passed legislation to put those laws in place to ensure that spending is capped at a certain percentage of GDP in order to get us to the 60% margin that we are projected to reach by the end of this fiscal year. So yes, things are looking good in terms of the macroeconomics, but on the ground, the average man will tell you that he's not feeling it, right?
That's quite important, DeVille. In any nation, that the people feel the turnaround that's happening in the economy and the boost that's taking place, that the people actually feel it.
Right. The persons who are doing well, right, are those who are connected and those who are rich. The greatest level of apathy exists within the youth, right? It's approaching 10 years that Andrew Holness has been in power, right? If the youths were being looked after and they felt comfortable with the work that he was doing, you would have a higher number in terms of percentage of youth who plan to vote. They're planning not to vote because their needs are not being addressed.
How would
we plan?
Yes.
We plan. That's what I'm getting now. Right, so we spent the last 5 years in opposition, going around the country, doing interviews. We did focus group with various groups, and among these, the top 3 issues that they pointed out was job opportunities, housing, and education. Our manifesto speaks to, as it relates to housing, we are going to revolutionize the housing industry. Youth below the age of 45 who qualify as a first-time homeowner will get a grant of $500,000 towards their deposit to purchase a home. We plan to make the process for youth to own homes in Jamaica much easier. That is something that the current government has failed at, right? Set targets that have not met it. Again, on the economy, Andrew Holness came into power promising to deliver 5% growth in 4 years. I don't think he has even achieved 3% growth in his time in office. So we plan on creating an economy that works for everyone. We plan to expand on the middle class that has been hollowed out by this government and its policies. And we plan on fixing, in terms of the job opportunities, we plan to tackle issues such as contract work. We're going to be rolling out our $3.5 million plan in terms of the tax threshold to give those persons in the middle class and the working lower class much needed tax breaks.
I thank you both very much. Of course, that you're looking on the screen right now at DeVille Grant. DeVille is one of the youth leaders, the youth arm of the PNP. And of course, if we can pull back, we can pull up Connor. Connor, right there, Connor, there you are. Connor, let's get your last name sorted out real straight. Give me your last name again, please, Connor. England, right. Connor England is also one of the youth leaders of the JLP. Once again, Jamaica decides tomorrow in just a few hours. Gentlemen, perhaps I'll reach out to you again, or maybe the victor. I'll reach out and say, hey, come back and let's talk about what you thought gave your organization the edge over the next. But I thank you both very much joining me live from Jamaica this evening. And of course, we will continue to watch as you all go to the polls tomorrow and see what the outcome is. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful evening. Beyond the headlines. When we come back, the Hot Topics panel joins me and they are going to weigh in a little bit about that, but we have so much more to get to, so much more. For example, what is happening between the taxi union and the Livery Drivers Association or union, and how did I get in the middle of it all? We'll talk about that when we come back after this break.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
It's me, Wednesday Addams. Your life just took a dark turn. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmarish dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
This year marks a milestone. The OWN Foundation is celebrating 10 years of impact, innovation, and inspiration. Join us for OWN Talks, September 12th at the Atlantis Resort, Paradise Island at 7 p.m. for a transformative experience under the theme, Activate. Taking the stage are world-renowned leaders and visionaries. Sebastian Bastian, visionary entrepreneur, philanthropist, and CEO of Island Luck and Weiss Technology Group. Barbara Corcoran, legendary real estate mogul, entrepreneur, investor, and star of Shark Tank. Vusi Thembekwayo, global business strategist, venture capitalist, and one of Africa's most influential thought leaders. Be part of this unforgettable evening as the OWN Foundation celebrates a decade of purpose and progress. And together, we activate the future.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you tuned in. Of course, if you missed the top segment, we were live speaking to youth leaders of both the JLP and the PNP in Jamaica. Of course, in a few hours, more than 2 million go to vote. Of course, the others would have voted earlier, like the police and other officials. But en masse, they go to vote tomorrow and they decide who they will vote for. The Bahamians in there. By the way, hello to you, Darren Turnquest. Darren helped me put all all that together. Darren now lives in Jamaica. You all know Darren. And so hello to you, Darren. He and his friends, a group of friends, are watching this evening live. And to all the others of you, thank you very much for tuning in. And thank you to those gentlemen from both political organizations who joined me as well at the top of tonight's show. I'm going to bring the Hot Topics panel in. And these gentlemen, too, have been watching like so many Bahamians. I mean, absolutely tracking this election campaign 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, because they really put in some real hours to go through Jamaica, the rural areas, the more developed areas. Every spot of Jamaica was touched in this election campaign. I want to hear their thoughts this evening before we move on. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Garth Rosborough and Ellington Ferguson. Good evening to both of you, gentlemen.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Certainly it's a pleasure to be here once again.
Good night, Shanique Miller. Good night to those that are watching tonight. And Shanique, I just made it back, and you got friends all over the place. I went to Fort Lauderdale, they were talking about you. Atlanta was talking about you, and California. And
she's a
I
special
guess now they're
woman.
going to talk about you in Jamaica.
Jamaica, why not? Why not? If we talking about Jamaica, Jamaica talk about us as well, right? But Garth, thank you. Good to have you back. And I want to say a big hello to all of them because they do. Another friend in Grand Bahama traveled as well recently, and they were in, I forget whichever mall it is, talking about the show. So it's good. I thank you all so much, and it's good to have you all watch wherever you are. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, like thousands of Bahamians who have been watching this election campaign just play out before our eyes, watching on the live streams and various social media posts. Your thoughts on how Jamaica in this election seemed to have really mastered something Trump did in terms of the social media game of elections, as he did last year. But the region has taken hold of that, and Jamaica really, I guess, set a wonderful example for the rest of the region to follow in what they did this election season.
Absolutely, Shanique. You're saying that this present Prime Minister, he has done, Holness, has done some things to really move the needle on the scale in Jamaica. You talked about housing. He's impacted them with housing. You talk about the economy. Even the opposition have spoken to the fact that, yes, the economy is beginning to move in a positive direction. You talk about the crime. The opposition is agreeing that, yes, they have...
That was important for Jamaica to get that in hand.
Absolutely.
Because the reputation for so long was just awful, quite frankly.
You're afraid to go to Jamaica.
Yes.
I mean, people will tell you if you visit there, you stay on the resort property. But now here it is that they brought it down some 400% or something of that sort. And like I'm saying, even the opposition is agreeing with that. And that is something that I'm sure that as they talk about the importance of the young people vote, I'm sure that is something that they're going to look at. I'm sure that as you bring the economy begin to move, crime begin to go down, other things like investment are going to come into play, and then the job market is going to begin to expand. So I think right now Jamaica's leadership is headed in the right direction. It's going to see how interesting the opposition can bring a message that can top what is going on now in Jamaica. Very interesting to see how that would happen, if it does happen.
Well, while I was there in Jamaica, I quickly learned that politics in Jamaica, Shanique Miller, is an extremely serious thing. I mean,
so it's a combat sport. You kidding?
I'm telling you, it's like a full contact sport. We could not even wear particular
Contact
colors
sport, yes.
During the election times.
You mean just the average person?
Just the average person. I was from the Bahamas. I was there. I was actually there when the Governor General, Patrick and Patricia Allen, were the deans on the campus at that time, so I'm very familiar with them, the Governor General of Jamaica. And from that time to this time, Jamaica has somewhat calmed itself immensely. It's not as intense as it used to be.
No.
But what I'm attracted to right now is the intelligence level of politics in Jamaica. They've taken it to a new height. And if you knew anything about the Jamaican people, you'd know that they're extremely analytical, very analytical. They're great mathematicians. They're very calculating. And to see those two young people simply just standing off just a while ago on your show and mentioning as to why they believe that their party, which would be the PNP, the People's National Party, or the Jamaican Labour Party, the JLP, would be the choice of today. I must confess to you that from the friends that I know, if I may say so, Shanique Miller, that the color you're wearing, green, the JLP, is favorable at this particular time. It'll be interesting to see if that actually does take place. But what is amazing also to me, Shanique Miller, you mentioned 10 years. It took 10 years to begin to really turn the country around.
Right. Yeah.
And what we have practiced here in the Bahamas is every 5 years.
Yeah,
Can we truly advance? Just changing governments every 5 years?
That's not
Maybe we need to look at probably a bit more time allowed to our political favorites here in the Bahamas to allow some semblance of progress to take place.
Yeah, you're right, because it's always that whole mantra that we say, stop, review, cancel. When you continue playing this ping pong ball every election season. So it's something that we're going to watch there, because in the newsroom we said, and I don't know if I dare say it live on air, but we'll watch and see what Jamaica does, and then we go from there. How about that? Meanwhile, gentlemen, get this. The Bahamas Taxi Cab Union President Ty Butler is attacking me. He told one of the dailies that I allowed President of the Livery Luxury Drivers Association to appear on this show and talk about if you guys can just roll the TP, just work with me. That's all. We live, man. We live. I can't. What this don't do is move. You know what I mean? And so I allowed the president of the Livery Drivers Association, Tori Austin, to appear on the show and talk about the industry. And in fact, what Austin did was really defend comments that Butler made to begin with. But he also added that the taxi industry mainly and largely is just in a very deplorable state. Now, you, sir, Mr. Butler, are being very disingenuous to your members and the Bahamian public at large. And you have come up wanting, sir. After returning from vacation, I made an attempt on August 21st at 8:38 in the morning to reach out to you, to speak to you on your comments that livery drivers were being given preferential treatment over taxi drivers at LPIA. You, sir, never took the opportunity to speak to your members. You never took the opportunity to speak to your members on an issue that the public and the authorities need be made aware of if indeed it was happening. Instead, you ignored every attempt by me. You also never responded to my requests. So when the livery drivers reached out to me and asked, can they come on to respond to what it is that you said in terms of them being treated more favorably, I agreed to hear them out. I agreed to hear what it is they had to say. Had you shown up, I would have given you the very same opportunity. There's no favorites here on this show, and that was free. He didn't pay. So the same opportunity I gave to him, you could have come here and had the same opportunity. I am not here, rather, to correct any union president who comes, whether he or she, whatever they say, particularly in an industry where the opinions are subjective. Subjective meaning, sir, it's their thoughts and opinions that the taxi drivers or taxi drivers and the vehicles that are being used are in a deplorable state. This is what they think. You could have come back, you could have come here and disagreed with that. I have no injection to make in what he is saying. Those are his views that he expressed. Instead, you sulked. Sulked. Do what you are elected to do. Represent the taxi drivers who are members of your union. I have no horse in the race. I don't take a taxi, thank God. I don't take a vehicle either. But who need the opportunity to meet the criteria that, again, you're not speaking out on it. Today, you're talking about, again, that NAD and Atlantis are enabling livery drivers to illegally solicit fares, yet you turned down an opportunity to come on this show and speak to it. You've also said you won't appear on the show and speak to me. Well, so hard, sir. I have so much to talk about. I can tell you about the next story right now coming up after this one. I am not lacking topics, not at all. But if the livery drivers want to come back and talk again and say, listen, Atlantis is not treating us favorably and we are not illegally competing with the taxi drivers, which you think I should tell them no because you ain't coming? I just want to know. You think I should? I don't know that. I don't know Tori Austin. I don't. But he's a union leader. So therefore, he has a voice. He has members and people that he represents. Gentlemen, I want to bring you both in on this here discussion. It is quite baffling to see somebody who is a leader in this nation, a leader of one of the oldest unions in the nation, and provide a very vital service to visitors. They don't necessarily serve the Bahamian people, but to visitors and to anybody who hopefully desires a taxi, to be taking this kind of position. Now today, which is a serious matter in his view, this is what we want to discuss and what I wanted initially to discuss with him. He again is asserting that NAD, the Nassau Airport Development Company, and Atlantis, a major resort here, are favoring and allowing livery and luxury drivers, those who have the other sort of vehicles, to compete unfairly with them. Your thoughts on how this back and forth in between, but taxis saying this and the livery drivers saying that, and livery sailors saying they ain't competing, but the people just desire a more pleasurable ride?
Shanique, this is a very unfortunate back and forth that continues to go on between these two groupings. It is equally or more unfortunate that they try to bring you into this and kind of throw partiality at you. I really don't think that that was fair to you, recognizing the fact, I remember when you first, when the news first break, when you were commenting on what the taxi union was saying.
We discussed solely what the taxi union said.
Right, and then you did say in that same show that you had invited him, but you didn't get any response. So I think it's unfair for him to suggest that you're being one-sided. I think that part is unfair. That said, this discussion has been ongoing. There's been discussion between the government, NAD, livery drivers, taxi, all those have come together. And it has been made clear what direction the government is going to go in. I hear Ty, I understand what he's saying, but that is something, what he's speaking on is not the direction that the government is going to go in. The government is presently working and making what necessary amendments there needs to be to cause to happen what they want to happen. They want there to be service if guests want to get livery service.
And I want to ask you, if in all fairness, guests now, visitors, whomever, Bahamians, high rollers, right, they are demanding more and more this sort of an enhanced experience driving through the streets of Nassau. Huh?
Being in the industry, people just come and decide. You can have a person who even ain't that rich and come out and I just want an SUV. You got wealthy people, they don't want to spend all that money. They got millions of dollars. They come out and they just want a taxi. But people comes out from all walks of life and say, hey, my family, we on vacation. Let's take an SUV. Let's take a town car. And it doesn't have to be necessarily very wealthy people, okay? So people come, and the thing is to have the choice there for the people. Somebody wanted to ride luxury today, SUV, a sedan, or a stretch limousine, a Sprinter, have it there available. If they want to go in taxi, that should not be interfered with. Let the people go in taxi. And I think the problem is the taxi union does not want the livery to be operating like that. They does not want that to be. The government have already basically decided that they're going to find a way that they can have this service to be continued offered at the airport, and they're working on proper policy legislation to frame the proper wording to do it. So, I mean, I think we need to be able
so this is a mute argument.
It's a mute argument because the government already, with everybody sitting together.
Because obviously, again, it's with all these major billion-dollar resorts being built and people desiring more with their experience. Obviously, it's an attempt to just upgrade the entire transportation industry. Is what I'm getting.
Well, absolutely. And the thing is, there's some things that needs to be worked out, some logistics that needs to be worked out down at all locations, the airport, the hotels, as to how, what, and why. There is some things need to be worked out on both sides. On both sides. There are some things that happens in this industry that I cry shame of on the livery side and on the taxi side. And so some logistics need to be worked out. But like I said, this is going to happen. It's not going away. And it's a moot point, like you said.
Well, if you have any familiarity, as Ellington does, I think he's right on it tonight. I do not believe it's wise at all for any union leader to strike out at you, Shanique Miller, not at a time like this when the entire world is paying attention to Beyond the Headlines. I would think you would want an ally with yourself on Beyond the Headlines.
And the platform.
And the platform.
Absolutely.
And if the opportunity does exist for you to come on the air, I just would like to say that it is very costly to sit where we sit. But of course, there are rates that you can pay if you'd like to do otherwise.
Sales and marketing await your call.
And if Shanique invites you, consider it a privilege. I would actually take advantage of that if I may. But I'll also say that you're looking at a situation of envy as well. And I know quite a number of you taxi drivers. I'm not taking anything away from you, but the truth be told is when you see those nice Yukons and Suburbans pulling up and Cadillac Escalades, you got a little bit of envy in you. I know exactly what I'm saying to you. You can deny it all you want. But the truth hurts. Listen to me. Get your act together. You have a taxi cab. You make a ton of money more than the average person here in New Providence. I can attest to that. Take your money. Save your money. And if these drivers who are livery drivers are making more than you upgrade yourself and find a way to also be a livery driver. If you cannot be a livery driver, then you be the best taxi driver. I just want to say it straight to you. Mind your own business and you may just profit. I just want to leave that right there.
Well, yes, Ellington?
To be fair, there are a number of cab drivers that have some very nice cars. A lot of cab drivers have purchased themselves SUVs. I mean, high expensive brand new SUVs. I'm not sure how it's going to pan out with a cab fare. Well, I know they try to do their little funerals and weddings and stuff. And, But you can. Everybody can live.
You can live. You can make some money if you do the right thing. Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to take either sides. I don't know who sleeps in the airport and who don't sleep there. The thing is, nobody should be sleeping there. That's just the bottom line. The government's acquisition of land to construct a new airport at the North Eleuthera International Airport site is under fire tonight. This, as the rightful owners, the Harbour Island Commonage, claims that they have been left feeling disregarded and without compensation. We get the story from Devontae Hanna, and then we come back and talk about it.
Acres of land now being surveyed for the construction of the North Eleuthera International Airport is tonight being brought into question by the Harbour Island Commonage, the rightful owners of the land, who is accusing the government of leaving them uncompensated and left outside of consultations.
That's where we can start, as well as, being acknowledged as the landowners and being negotiated with and discussed. Because at this point, we have not been privy to any negotiations or discussions with the government. And it is actually pretty disrespectful.
Dolan Curtis is just one of the 2,000 commoners who can trace their lineage to the original grantees who purchased the land from Queen Victoria in 1842. A handwritten letter from the Queen verifying the sale to the Bahamians who fought the war against the Spanish. Over the years, government has developed infrastructure over some of their 9,000 acres of land on the island, reportedly without informing the group. Most recently, the compulsory acquisition of land for the airport back in 2021 under the Minnis administration. And while they do not oppose the development, the commoners feel they are being left out of plans.
There were some agreements that were to be made. Some of those things were not actually granted to the commoners. So the infrastructure that was promised, which would include like infrastructure for water and light, those actually weren't given to the commoners. They had also negotiated for collecting fees for departure, just as a way to get some compensation. Those things were also never, given to the commonage.
It's not the first time the commoners and government has been at odds. Back in 2021, backed by the Acquisition of Land Act, attorneys representing the group threatened to take action over $26 million in compensation. Up to this point, there has been no reports of those funds being handed over. Tonight, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism acknowledging that.
There is an obligation on the part of the government to provide adequate compensation. Fair compensation, and I'm satisfied that that's going to happen.
With that commitment, he is hopeful both stakeholders can move forward together for the greater good of the country.
We've had engagement with them before. Various representatives or persons who claim to be representatives of the commonages. The government has, no issue with ongoing engagement and consultation. We all want the same thing.
That being the construction of the new airport pegged at $55 million. The group making clear they do not oppose the construction of the new airport in any way. Devontae Hanna, Eyewitness News.
Well, there you have it, guys. I tell you that North Eleuthera Airport has gone from one discussion and debate to another. Your thoughts on this family saying, listen, hold up, before you all move forward, you're going to have to pay us this money. And, well, there's a promise there to pay. You heard Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Chester Cooper, says they will be paid fairly.
Well, Shanique, I think this, if that's the commonage property, I think we need not to be seen or appear to be holding up the progress of the airport for Eleuthera. If there are some things to be paid, I think it needs to be an ongoing negotiation while you continue. The airport is there already. And if the government wants to upgrade it to cause for a better airport, which I know that Eleuthera is been in needing of for some time, I think that needs to be allowed to happen. I think whatever discussion they have needs to be an ongoing discussion while progress continues. I think we can't do both sides simultaneously. There need not to be some disruption to the continued development for all of Eleuthera for that airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you're saying, Arlington. It's a very difficult situation. It is a matter of respect, but it's also a matter of provision. For those people who understand how our country works, tourism being the #1 product, that airport is extremely necessary to boost the economy, not only of North Eleuthera, but for the entire Bahamas. We have a common treasury. We have to be able to pay our civil servants. We have to be able to give you that light and that water that you're crying for in North Eleuthera. All these things are tied together.
Absolutely.
So I would say to the commonage, listen to Garth carefully. Go and see the government. It's a bit arduous. I know it's difficult, but be patient about it. Work it out. And the government, at this time, I'd say give the people just a little bit of respect. Give them something to work with. But I'm almost certain as a Bahamian people, we should be able to come to some understanding for the benefit to make a better Bahamas.
Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
As we continue to develop the orange economy of the Bahamas and empower our artists and artisans, we as a government intend to show tangible support. We are therefore requesting our Bahamian artists and artisans to submit images of their handmade, authentically made Bahamian products and prices as we move to produce a live digital booklet with Bahamian-made works. With the creation of a live booklet, artisans can always submit new works to be included. It is our intent to use this book as a catalog for the purchase of items by all senior government officials for gifts, display items, and the like. Ministers, permanent secretaries, members of parliament, and ambassadors will be supporting our orange economy by the purchase of items and in sharing this book to the wider global creative community. We are committed to grow and expand the orange economy of the Bahamas.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, let's just jump right back in news from the political arena. As more candidates get ratified to vie for the votes in the next general election, a local stakeholder gets frank about what she says is gender imbalance in frontline politics. Jose Etienne takes a look, and then we come back and talk about it.
The political battle almost in full swing as parties in the race have already unveiled candidates ahead of the next general election. And all eyes are set on the governing Progressive Liberal Party to see who will be ratified. But women's rights activist Rodesta Moore is making this demand: a more gender-balanced political landscape.
That we need more women, and we don't need tokens. We don't need women just put there because of the sake of women.
Beyond boosting the number of female representation, Moore says officials must ensure that there's a likelihood for them to land in Parliament after the polls are closed.
I recommend that we do a quota. So say if we do a quota for 40% women, we know that if the F&M runs 40%, the PLP runs 40%, it doesn't matter. You could put a woman against a woman. But if you have a small quota, you have 7 women, 5 women, 6 women, and you put that woman against another woman, it doesn't make any sense.
Political commentators might argue that an example of Moore's illustration would be the Free National Movement's candidate for Englishton, Heather MacDonald, who could be going up against veteran politician Glenys Hanna Martin, who's had a tight grip on the area since 2002. Now, despite Moore's concerns about what she claims is a gender gap in Parliament, the governing PLP has touted having the largest number of women in Parliament, most of whom sit around Prime Minister Philip Davis's cabinet.
I am for women, and they are being empowered by me.
But Moore says they're not moving the needle on issues deeply affecting women and children.
I'm still not satisfied. It's not enough. I'm not seeing and some people talk about, 40% is a little high. But if you're serious about women, running women, and serious about changing the status quo and what's happening, I think you need to do more.
Meanwhile, the F&M has already ratified 9 women aspiring to enter frontline politics, and the Coalition of Independents with 16 women candidates as part of its slate. The jury is still out for the women who will receive the governing party's nod. Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Well, guys, I really want to just because Carlisle already said, Shanique, hi, you need to wrap soon. What does she mean that there needs to be this equal balance of women? I am wondering, are these women to be prepared, experienced, have a track record of service, are fit for the job? See, I just don't want a free gift because you are a woman and say, here, it's yours. Now run with it and take it, whatever. And then what? Are we getting to the point where we are pushing whatever this narrative is that was knocked down so neatly by the further north about this gender equality and all of this stuff? I just find an issue with that, of ensuring that political organizations look very cute with the right amount of men and just the right amount of women. Your thoughts about that, gentlemen?
I'm trying to figure out, Shanique, exactly what it is that she is alluding to as it relates to, she think it should be more. I mean, women put themselves forth. They either ratified or they are not, according to the party's constitution. Sound like what she's wanting. Once a woman come forth, they don't have to get ratification. They don't have to go through nothing because they're a woman. Put that one forth. And then she used a statement about not just token. You have the Dennerly Penn, who's just been ratified. You have the lady in Barnett. Okay, all of these. Look at the ladies in the Progressive Liberal Party. That is, sometimes people say that the ladies are outshining the men sometimes. We have ladies that are making contribution, and she alluded that they are not moving the needle. I think that's an unfair statement.
But let them move.
All those ladies, both on the Free National Movement and the Free F&M.
Let them move the needle with their might, with the fact that they are, you mentioned, Garth, about the Caribbean and the rest of the Caribbean rather, and just how eloquent and prepared and just incredibly highly intellectual they are. I do not want to see a woman standing there swinging her hair
and looking
to
pretty.
Make up the number.
Yeah, just to make up the number.
Just to make up the number, and she cute and face full of makeup. If she has nothing to say and no contribution to make, go have a seat. That doesn't diminish us. That doesn't take our rights away. The thing is, be deserving of the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Show up and show yourself approved.
And women have been showing up, Shanique, in both of these major political parties, the Progressive Liberal Party and the Free National Movement, and those women have been making some wonderful contribution. And I mean, it has been increasing over the years, and you can go as far back as Dame Janet Bostwick and all of those that have made significant contribution to right now the ladies that are in the Progressive Liberal Party. You see the Free National Movement ratifying a lot of qualified ladies. And because another lady is going up against a lady is going up against Glenys Anna Martin. I mean, what is that? I mean, it's crazy.
Two women who feel, and their organizations feel, that they are worthwhile competitors. Exactly. And can actually go and put on a wonderful race for that constituency, then so let it be. Yeah. Let the best woman win. Yeah. But I also don't, a woman can go up against a man and beat him. I mean, I don't want us to become too masculine as women, that we forget our roles. You know, we can someone feel as though, listen, the man has no place here, let him stand down and sit in the corner and watch me roar. No. Society was built, and let it stay structured as it is. Let us not tamper with the way things are structured and meant to be. That is not to say I am not a proponent of abusing a woman, of violence against women, of women sitting in the corner and waiting until their name is called. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm saying, though, unless a woman is worth it, worth being out there and has proven herself, and that she can actually go out there and represent a constituency and a group of people and get it done seamlessly and effectively, then stop pushing this woman narrative.
And the fact is, it's not given to you, like you alluded to earlier. You've got to go out there and do the necessary things. If it's something that you've got to win, you've got to win. You've got to go to your candidates committee and you've got to win the support of the people. Outside of that, just, chill. Women is doing some great things in the Bahamas. We got women at the helm of a number of organizations here in the Bahamas.
I mean it. Garth, what you have to say?
Well, there's definitely an agenda there. It's almost on the verge of man bashing that I just witnessed a while ago. The passion and the energy, to me, is totally negative towards men. I do believe there's a natural process in this country that can make this country better, and that natural process actually allows both men and women to go ahead and seek nomination. Upon getting the nomination for a particular constituency, the rest is left up to God and citizenry. Yeah. And so to just simply stand and simply say, I prefer women, I myself, I'm offended, Ms. Podesta Moore. I see you continuing on this particular...
I'm offended.
Yeah, on this whole conversation. I do not like it. You need to stop it. We can build this country together, both men and women, but if we keep on leaving men behind to think that they can be great, then the country continues to dwindle and we leave our men under the juju tree, smoking what they got to smoke and doing what they got to do, and we continue to stay in the back. Listen, let's have a fair Bahamas. Let's have a loving Bahamas. Men and women who want to vie for politics, go right on ahead and do so, but bring yourself here and be on the headlines. You got to go through Shanique this time. I'm telling you, you got to go through Shanique. And if you want to make yourself great, you got to go through Shanique and be on the headlines.
Yeah, don't sit down there and can't even spell. Spell your constituency.
Spell, count.
Come on the show. We're waiting to speak with you. We're not going to bite you. We just simply want to hear what you have to offer, both men and women. No disrespect. But let's love each other and build our country together.
Absolutely.
Well said, gentlemen. Well said. This is Beyond the Headlines. I thank, of course, tonight at the top of tonight's show, my guests from Jamaica, two youth leaders in both the JLP and the PNP. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I know, right? Watching tomorrow, Election Day. And then, of course, here in the last two segments, my Hot Topics panelists, Garth Rosborough and Ellington Ferguson. Of course, a big thank you to all of you for tuning in this evening. I certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.